everything, neck, back, arms. I mean, the works.
Right.
We're all sitting at a computer all day long.
Right. If you have it, it's tight. I know.
Rob.
Say like, oh, what do you guys want to work on? It's like, well, my back needs to open up, my hips, yeah, all the things. So I always try to have a balanced practice. So if you have 2 blocks nearby or a blanket, any sort of support, you can grab that. And again, this is the last week with you. So it's been so fun teaching at Kimmel with you all. You know, it's virtually, I feel like I got to know some of you a little bit. So yeah, maybe in the future, if Caitlin needs a sub, I'll step in, but she'll be back with you next week, and hopefully you'll have some fresh material after her maternity leave. I'm sure her life perspective is pretty different these days. So let's begin in a way we often begin, in a seated position, comfortable cross-legged pose. And if your legs are tight, it might feel good to prop yourself up on a block or a blanket, kind of elevating your hips. So today we'll do a little centering as we kind of come into this space, and then do a little kind of neck, upper back, shoulder release, and get into some deep stretches in the hips and continue to open up the spine. But now just kind of find a tall, long spine if you can. If there's anything nearby that might distract you, if you want to just place it to the side. And then close your eyes. Let yourself really land here. See if you can create a beautiful, long, tall spine, some nice posture here as you sit tall. Feel your lower body kind of rooting and grounding down, and a lift through the spine. And with your eyes closed, start to really connect to the breath as you breathe deeply in through the nose. Sigh out of the mouth. And again, deep breath in through the nose. Let a sigh out. Just kind of releasing stress and tension. And one more deep breath in through the nose. Sigh out of the mouth. So when we lengthen the exhales, it'll help kind of create more relaxation. And by lengthening the inhales, it can help if you're feeling dull or tired or bored, kind of stimulating a little bit more. And whatever you need in your practice today, just landing here and feeling into whatever feelings you feel, physically, emotionally, mentally. And then I invite you to set a personal intention for your class today. Are you thinking about what you want to feel after or during? It can be kind of an emotional intention like rest or balance, or maybe physical, maybe kind of, again, balanced or flexible or strong. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, palms touching, just kind of affirm and tap into an intention, a deeper layer in the practice today. Deep breath in. Exhale. And then press your palms together and stretch your arms up and over. And then reach your arms out and down. Good. Uncross your legs and place your feet down with your knees bent. And with your hands behind your back, just sway a little side to side. So let your knees drop, a little side to side windshield wiper, and maybe kind of lift a hip and move your hips a little too. Good. And then press down to your hands behind you. Place your feet down, bend your knees, and lift into a reverse tabletop. Press up. Good. And then lower down. Come into a cross-legged position once again. And if you're very tight and that doesn't feel good, you can always sit here with legs extended straight out. With your hands on your knees, start to make some circles. Yeah, gentle circles through your spine. So like your spine is a spoon and your hips are like a bowl, just kind of gently mixing here. And if you're maybe tighter in your upper back or mid back, maybe feel a little bit more there. If a teacher says you should be feeling something a certain way and you're not, that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong. Not at all. Good. And then slowly switch directions, go the other way. Chest forward, to the side, back and around. Good, and then landing at center as you sit nice and tall. Do some seated cat-cows here. So with your hands on your knees around your spine, let your chin drop into your chest. Kind of shift back. And then lift up, then shift forward, draw your shoulders down your back, so kind of arch your spine for cow. Now round your spine, pull back, chin in. Good, shift forward, arch your spine, shoulders slide back and down. Good, one more time, round your spine, chin in. Good, arch your spine, shift forward. Good, and then come back to sit nice and tall, shoulders right over your hips. Interlace your fingers and see if you can press your palms forward. And again, kind of round your spine back, big O with the arms. Good, now lift up and see if from here you can press your palms up towards the ceiling. So a little bend of your elbows, kind of drop your shoulders down. Now see if you can make some circles here with the upper body. Kind of think between your shoulder blades, the chest. So helpful to get a little strength moving where it can get tight and kind of collapsed. And then gently switch your circles. Maybe the elbows bend and straighten a little bit. Good, and then release your arms out and down. Place them behind your back. See if you can interlace your fingers. Squeeze your palms together, lift your chest. Good, and then release your arms down. Your hands on your mat beside you, kind of tent onto your fingertips. Now inhale, stretch your arms out. And all the way up. And then exhale, bend your elbows to a T and your exhale, like cactus position. Inhale, arms stretch high. And then exhale, bend your elbows to a T. Maybe open your chest a little. And then one more time, inhale, stretch. Now exhale, take a twist to the right. Bring your left hand outside the right knee. Right hand behind your back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, twist. Again, breathe in. Exhale, and then come to face forward, arms down by your sides. Again, inhale, arms stretch out and up, and then exhale, twist to the left. Right hand maybe outside the knee, just gently warming up on your inhale, sit a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper, and then come back to center. So now I'll do a little, what I like to call unwreck your neck. So bring your hands, you can interlace your fingers, make a little kind of palm with your hand, elbows wide, and then bring your hands into the back of the head and kind of imagine you're gonna press your head back into your hands and your hands into your head. So this is kind of to align the back of the neck. Good, now keeping your hands there, let your chin drop down and give your head a little pull, stretching the back of the neck. Good, and then lift up and press your head back into your hands. So really aligning your spine, press back. Good, and then one more time, let your chin drop in. Maybe hands kind of pull the back of the head down. Good, and then release, lift back up, arms by your sides. Let your right ear drop towards your right shoulder. Keep your shoulders drawing down. Maybe just kind of move a little here. You can kind of nod your head a little yes to the side. Good, and then come back up to sit tall. And then let your left ear drop towards your left shoulder. Feel stretch to the right side of the neck there, breathe. And then again, maybe kind of tilt your chin a little, yes. Good, and then come back up to center, and one more time, right ear towards your right shoulder. Option, maybe stretch your left arm out. You can have your fingertips on the mat or kind of lengthen it. Even slightly, slowly go palm up. Woo! Yeah, feel that, and then palm down. Maybe walk your hand back. So stretch maybe along the front of your neck there. Maybe a little pretty interesting. It's a good word to say tight. Good, and then slowly bring it back to center, pause. Good, and then other side again, left ear towards the left shoulder. Keep your shoulders drawing down, and then walk your right hand out to deepen it. You also don't have to. You might even put your hand on the front of the neck. You can kind of feel that big muscle on the front there. And you can kind of lift your palm, maybe turn your palm up, out, or like swinging that arm, maybe stretch your arm back a little. Ooh, yeah. Whew. Anyone else getting some good information there? Wow. Right. Good, and then slowly lower your hand back down and lift your head back up, just gently pausing in the middle. Maybe there's kind of like an after effect. Now from here, twist just your head over to the right. So gaze over your right shoulder. Maybe look behind you. Nice, and then come back to center and then gaze over the left shoulder. We'll twist through your neck. Good, and then back to center, nice and slow, really feeling deeply here. One more time. Look over your right shoulder, so twisting the neck. Good, and slowly back to center, look to the left. Good, back to center. So last thing for the neck here, let your chin drop down and just gently roll your head from shoulder to shoulder, as if you're drawing a line on your chest with your chin. Just a little sway back and forth here. And if it would feel comfortable, you can even circle your head all the way around, back and down. Big circles for the neck. Remember, our head is heavy and the neck does a lot to hold it up all day. Switch. So giving yourself a little neck love. Powerful. Good. And then slowly make your way back to center. Last thing here, inhale, deep breath, and squeeze your shoulders up. And then exhale, drop the shoulders down. Inhale, squeeze your shoulders up. Exhale, drop your shoulders down. One more time, inhale, shoulders squeeze. And then big circles, draw your shoulders down, back and around, up, around and back. One more time, up, around and back, a little shake. Good, now let's come on to all fours, table pose. So depending if you're tight or stiff, it might be a lot to really move into that position. So taking your time as you find a nice flat back. So it's natural to have those curves in your spine. See if you can kind of pull the front body to the back body here. Good, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Begin by just moving your hips from side to side. You can kind of drop your hips to the left, maybe gaze over your right shoulder, and switch, hips go right, gaze is left. So moving your hips from side to side. And now start to turn that into circles. Arms bend and straighten, kind of barrel rolling, rolling through your ribs, your hips, your shoulders a little up and down, side to side. And then switch other direction. Arms can bend and straighten, move up and down. Might hear some snap, crackle, pop. For me, I have a really creaky left elbow. Maybe a hip for you, a knee. Good. Now press back into child's pose. So move to the back of the mat with your big toes touching and your knees wide. Hips to the heels, arms stretch forward. Let your forehead come down. And here you might kind of feel a stretch through your chest, your upper back. Really feel your hips settle back and down. Let your eyes close. See if you can soften into the jaw. And always remember in our practice, or in any yoga practice, or any fitness movement, anything, to let your body be your best teacher. Moving from a place of knowing inside of you. So if something doesn't feel right, just stop. You can always find something else, or you can invent something else. But yeah, finding that edge in our yoga practice, walking right up to it and hopefully not over it. So creating a sense of deep listening here. So one more deep breath as your hips draw back, arms stretch forward. Lift your gaze, come up onto the fingertips. Now walk your upper body over to the right. Feel a stretch that left side there and breathe. Maybe your left ear is resting. And then lift your gaze, come up onto the fingertips, walk your way to center and then over to the left.
Feel a stretch to the right side there. Maybe the right ear rests, breathe. And then lifting your gaze again up on the fingertips to center. Good, rise up for tabletop on all fours. Let's do 3 rounds of traditional cat-cow. So with a neutral spine and flat back, tuck your toes and arch. So drop your belly towards the floor, draw your shoulders down your back, lift your hips, gaze forward, up. And now point your toes and around your spine for cat. Let your chin drop in. Good, inhaling cow, shrug your shoulders down, shift forward, maybe gaze up. Point your toes and around your spine, cat. Come back to neutral, table pose. Look down at your hands, spread your fingers wide, really root into the knuckles. Now tuck your toes and ease your hips up and back into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So here, general alignment cues, hands shoulder width distance apart, feet hip width. Maybe you want your feet a little bit wider, maybe towards the edges of the mat. Really root into your knuckles, weight evenly distributed between the hands and the feet. Now lift up onto your tippy toes and round your spine out into a high plank position, one strong straight line. Good, drop to your knees. Shift your hips back almost like an active child's pose. Then shift your hips forward, straight line into shoulders. Look forward, elbows bend to your sides, yogi push up. And then straighten your arms. 2 more, elbows bend and straighten. And then 1 more time, elbows bend. Come all the way to the belly. Move your hips, maybe stretch your legs back as if someone were pulling on your heels. Stretch your arms long by your sides and then inhale, rise up. For a little back bend, maybe your legs stretch as well. And then lower down. Now slide your hands by your sides and inhale for a little cobra or an up dog. Maybe rock your hips, gaze right, gaze left. Good. Now lift back to table and circle your hips back to your heels. Now stretch forward to your right wrist and your left. Back left and right. Nice big circles through your hips. Good, back and then forward. Now switch directions. Circle your hips to the right and the left and kind of come forward. Drop your hips left and right. Big circles through your hips, for your ribs. Good, back to center table. And then again, hips lift, downward dog. We're just gonna do 2 rounds of some slow sun salutations and get into some deep stretches. So from here, walk your feet to the top of the mat, coming forward in a nice deep fold. You can bend your knees here, maybe reach back to grab behind your calves or your thighs, your ankles. And then bring your feet towards the edges of the mat, bend your knees and see if you can drop down into a little yogi squat, heels in, toes out. Maybe hands come to the center of your chest, elbows press the knees open. Good, stretch your arms forward and then reverse squat, rise to stand. Step your feet together, bring your hands to your heart, mountain pose. Good, deep breath in, big breath out. So we're gonna do some traditional sun salutations. So lower your arms down. Good, and then inhale, arms stretch up. Maybe a back bend here, press your hips forward. And then forward fold, hands to the mat, let your head drop. Now from here, lengthen your spine, look forward. Step your left leg back. Bend your right knee, drop your back knee down and rise up to a low lunge. Good, hands to the floor. Step your right leg back, down dog. You can hold your dog or round forward to plank, either on your knees or right from plank, bend your elbows, chaturanga, yogi push-up. Upward dog or cobra, find your nice big back bend, stretching the chest, good. Downward facing dog. Then settle, really engage, super strong, breath in, full breath out. Good, reach your right leg up and back. And now step your right foot forward. You can always bring your hand there, help guide it. Drop your back knee. Again, rise up, low lunge. And hands to the floor, left foot steps forward, fold in. Lengthen your spine, gaze forward, half lift. Good, step your right leg back this time. Back knee drops, rise, low lunge. Left knee is forward, nice deep bend there. Maybe roll out your wrists a little. Good, hands to the floor. Step your left leg back to down dog. Up on the tippy toes, ripple your spine forward to plank. Right from here, or with the knees down, elbows bend, chaturanga. Good, up dog or cobra, find a back bend. Downward face and settle. Breathe in and breathe out. Lift your left leg up and back, and then step it forward. Drop your back knee down, rise into your low lunge pose. Good, bring your hands down and then step your right foot forward and fold. With the bend of your knees, round your spine to come all the way up. Shoulders shrug up, around, back and down, and let your arms relax. So that's a traditional classic variation of a sun salutation A. We'll do one round of sun salutation B. So beginning in chair pose, top of the mat, bend your knees, sit your seat down, stretch your arms high, and just notice how it feels to really breathe with movement, move with the breath. Sit a little bit lower, stretch higher, and then bring your hands to the floor, fold. Inhale, let your spine lengthen, look up. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, plank, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, down dog. Again, right leg stretches high. This time, maybe you bend your knee and open up your hip. Might feel like a really good stretch in that left calf. Good, you can kind of shake out that right leg, circle it, kick, roll out the ankle. Good, now squaring your hips, step that right foot forward, spin your back heel down. Rise up for warrior one, facing forward. So land here, nice deep bend in the front knee, shoulders drop down, breathe. Knees sit a little bit lower, one more breath. And then hands to the floor. You can step your right leg straight to downward dog. You could hover it, cross it over your left ankle. And then again, option for a flow. Yogi push up dog, down dog. Left leg stretches up and back. Now hold it lifted. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Maybe you kind of kick your leg straight, bend it a couple times, roll out that ankle, circle the knee in the air. And then extend the left leg, backing halfway down, hips are squared. Roll forward and step your left foot up. Back heel spins down, rise, warrior one. Drop your shoulders, stretch up, ground down, breathe. And then hands to the mat. Left leg steps back. You can step it straight to downward dog, or again, take a flow. Lower chaturanga, yogi push up, maybe all the way to the floor. Cobra or up dog. Back to downward face or rest in child's pose or table. Breathing in and letting go. Full breath in, filling the lungs up. Full breath out, emptying the lungs. And then up on the toes, maybe a little bend of your knees. Walk or step or float your feet to the front of the space. Look forward. And then re-fold down. Bend your knees, sit your seat down, stretch your arms high, chair pose to kind of round out the sun salutation B. Good, rise all the way to stand, maybe back bend. Hands to the heart, mountain pose. Good, breathe in, let go. Lower your arms down by your side, roll out your wrists a little bit. And then lift your right heel and then your left heel. So really kind of pressing into the balls of the feet, rolling out your wrists, strengthening the ankles a little bit. Now bring your feet together. Bring your hands onto your knees and circle your knees like this. Good, great to get some movement, some fluid energy into all of our joints, and then circle your knees the other way. Good, stand up, step your feet about the distance of your mat or wider, and then make some big circles with your hips. You can let your arms kind of do fun things, or rest your arms down or bring them on your hips. Circle the other way, to the side, back, to the side, forward, and it might feel good to kind of linger. Notice where it feels good to pause or linger. Good, and then standing back in your mountain pose, shoulders nice and tall, crown of the head lifting, breath in, exhale. Now balancing on your left leg, draw your right knee into your chest. Again, circle your ankle, draw it in, circle the other way. Good, now see if you can balance that leg, maybe hands at your heart. And from here, send your leg back into warrior three, chest down, leg up. Balance your focus, you got this. Good, now step your left foot slowly down at the back of the mat, reach your arms high, crescent lunge. Good, open to the side of the mat. For warrior two, nice deep bend of your front knee. Right toes face the side, left toes face forward, arms stretch out. So you might feel a stretch in the front of the hips here. Maybe sit a little lower. Good, now we're gonna bend to the right knee and squat at the back of the mat, Skandasana. So right knee bends, left leg extends, maybe the forearms come down inside that leg. Good, rise up and shift forward, extended side angle, left forearm to thigh, the right arm reaches up and over. Good, rise back to warrior two. Good, then lift your back heel, face forward, arms stretch high. See if from here, again, you can shift forward and up into airplane pose. Good, and then come to standing without laying that right foot. Touch, lift your right leg up, and then put it down. Now lift your left leg and march a little. You can have your hands on your hips or arms stretch high, and see if you can kind of roll through your foot as you lift one leg and the other. Kind of point that toe and spring off the ball of the foot. Good. And then balancing on the right leg, lift your left leg into you. Lift your knee into your chest. And again, you roll that ankle a little, one direction and then the other. Good, hug it in. Now see if you can let that leg balance. You know where we're going this time, hands at your heart or by your side. Big challenge, if you have a wall nearby, feel free to place your hand on the wall. Airplane pose or warrior three. So think capital letter T, hips face the floor. Maybe right knee is slightly bent here, balance. Good, now step your left foot back of the mat. Stretch your arms high, crescent lunge. Imagine your hips are squaring forward, reach up as you ground down. Good, and then spin your back foot open to the side of the mat. Reach out wide for warrior two. And you can almost imagine someone kind of in a loving way coming behind you and opening your hips a little. So this is a hip opener, if you can believe it. Nice deep bend of the front knee. Maybe feel it in your hip flexors. You can kind of move your shoulders around and down. One more breath. Good, hands come together, bend your left knee, stretch your right leg long, drop into a squat at the back of the mat, Skandasana. Maybe forearms come down in front of you. Good, and then shift forward again, bend into your front knee, right arm down, left arm up and over, extended side angle. Long line of energy, big stretch. Rise to warrior two. Lift your back, heel up, stretch your arms high, crescent lunge. Good, and again, spring forward, airplane pose, or warrior three. Good, rise up, bring your left knee into your chest, and then the right leg. So lift and lift, warming up here, maybe roll your wrists a little bit. Good, both feet come down, arms stretch overhead, right hand to the left wrist, stretch up and over to the right. Good, come back to center, little bend of your knee, switch, left hand, right wrist, up and over to the left. Good, come back to center, elbows bend to a T, maybe back bend here. And again, forward fold. Lengthen your spine, plant the hands, take it straight into downward dog this time. Breath in, exhale. Right leg stretches up. Now step the right foot forward with the back knee lowered. Low lunge. Great place to have hands on blocks if you have blocks handy. Nice deep bend of your front knee. Good, now straighten your front leg, rock your hips back, come into a half split. Good, bend into your front knee as you shift your hips forward. Shift your hips back, right heel dragging towards the left knee. Good, bend and shift your hips forward. Last time, right leg straightens. Go right heel, left knee, and then see if you can hold here and fold over your front leg in a half split. You can turn your toes out, moving the stretch, maybe point your toes in, really flex and point. And some of you, if you have the flexibility, if you want to challenge yourself, maybe you come into a full split here, right leg forward, left leg back, only if that would feel good for you. Good, slide that right leg back into your half split. Maybe taking your mat with you if you went all the way. Good, now shift forward again. And this time, heel toe your right foot over to the right side of the mat. Let your hands come inside that leg for a low lizard lunge. Some of you might have the space to come onto your forearms or elbows. Maybe you rock a little side to side. You can also twist here. So place your right hand inside the thigh, left hand down. Kind of twist to the side, maybe even shifting. And again, see if you can let the breath really build deeply in and out of the nose. Good, one more breath here. Now, if you're on your forearms, straighten your arms, walk your hands in. Heel toe your right foot to the left side of the mat for pigeon pose. So if you're more flexible, the front shin will kind of be aligned with the top of the mat. Other people, bring your right foot in, kind of in front of your left hip. You can tuck your left toes, really scooch that leg back. Maybe walk your hands in as you lift up. Good, and then from here, come down. The elbows, maybe the forearms. Good, and then let yourself settle. Maybe you can put your head in your hands, let your forehead rest on the mat or a block. And notice where that stretch is happening. Maybe you feel it front of the left hip flexor, outer right hip. So pigeon pose, really great deep stretch here. See if you can really bring your attention down into the hips, softening them, relaxing. Breathing in, letting go. Take your final deepest breath here. And then as you're ready, walk your hands in, lift your chest up, lengthen. Now roll heavy to your right hip, kind of off to the side, and swing your left leg around in front of you for Janu Sirsasana. So facing forward, sole the right foot goes inside that inner thigh, left leg is straight, lift tall, and then see if you can fold over your leg. Kind of pour your chest out, then walk your hands in and rise up. And just a couple times kind of drop down, creating some space in the spine, rise up. Good, last time, fold forward and then hold here. Maybe you're reaching towards your foot, towards your toes. You're gonna curl your toes back towards you. You're drawing your nose towards your knee. Deep breath. And then slowly walk your hands in, lift your chest up, Bring your shoulders up, around, back and down. Again. One more time, up, around, back and down. Good, and then bend your right knee, hug it in. Good, and then twist. So wrap your left arm around your right knee, reach your right arm up, and then see if you can bring it behind your back. Maybe the left elbow goes outside the right knee, right hand behind your back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. One more breath there. Good, come around to face forward, counter over to the left side, hands down, maybe chest bows. Rise back up, and then swing your legs around behind you to make your way to tabletop position. And just pause here and notice, maybe the right side feels a little more awake, engaged, energized, turned on. You can sway a little. And an option here to press back into a child's pose, or option to kind of move through a flow variation if that would feel good, maybe rolling out, modified plank, knees down, elbows bend, chaturanga to the belly. Shake your hips and rise to a back bend. And a downward facing dog. Breathe in and let it go. Maybe with your knees slightly bent, you can lift your heels up, lift your hips even higher, and then draw your hip bones back, your shin bones back, thigh bones. Good, settle into that beautiful stretch. Now left leg stretches up. Bring it forward, foot between your hands, drop your back knee. Pull through, low lunge. And then as you're ready, straighten your front leg as your heel draws back, your hips draw back, maybe hands on blocks if you have them, and then bend into the front knee, shifting forward. Good, hips rock back, just over your thigh, maybe bowing, hips rock forward. Really nice mobility here, just a simple exercise. And then one more time, hips rock back, we'll hold in the half split there. So think left heel towards your right knee, curl your toes back towards your face. And you can just play with some little details of the stretch, maybe toes turn out, toes point in. Really flex your foot, point your toe down. If you did it on the other side, maybe you want to explore that full split stretch. Left leg forward, right leg back. Testing kind of your range of motion, your level of flexibility. Might feel good and might feel bad. So remember to listen to your unique body and do what's right for you. That's the real yoga, listening and practicing. Good. If you went all the way, squeeze it back to your half split and then rebend as you shift forward once again. And if you have a sensitive knee, you can always prop the blanket underneath that back knee. So just nice deep bend and settling down. And then you can stay here or do what we did on the other side is you walk your left foot over to the left. Bring your hands inside that leg. You can go straight arms or come down with the elbows, the forearms. So low lizard lunge. And you can play here, maybe rolling to the outside edge of your right hip. Shifting a little back and forth. Maybe you even twist left hand inside the thigh, kind of turn open. And forearms or arms straight. And just kind of explore and notice. It might feel better to move and shift. It might feel better to stay and hold. Two more breaths here. And as you're ready, we'll kind of straighten the arms, pull back a little, shift out of it. Move your left foot over to the right side of the mat for pigeon pose. You can have the shin kind of parallel to the top of the space, or hug your left foot kind of in front of your right hip. Square your hips, walk your hands in, lift your chest up. Right toes can tuck. Good, and then fold forward for pigeon. Drop to the elbows, the forearms, maybe your forehead rests on a block. Soften here, relax. See if you can bring your attention right into the place in the pose where it feels the most intense for you and hold your focus there. Take 2 more deep breaths here. In your pigeon on the left, breathing in, letting go. Maybe even feeling directly into where there's new space here, breathing in, letting go. And then as you're ready, walk your hands in to lift your chest up, lengthen through your spine. Good, and then roll onto the left hip and swing that right leg around in front of you. Good, the sole of the left foot will come inside the right leg into Janu Shirshasana. Good, inhale, sit tall, and then exhale, gently fold over the right leg. And then do that 2 more times, kind of round as you come up, inhale, exhale, fold forward. And then 1 more time, inhale, exhale, and lower. Maybe reach your fingers towards your toes, chest over your thigh. And you might feel a stretch in your back here, maybe behind your hamstring. Just breathe into the space where it might feel the most intense for you. And then take your time to slowly rise back up, shoulders shrug up, around, back and down. Bend your left knee, hug it into your chest. You can wrap your arms around your thigh. Good, and then adding a twist, right arm stretches, left hand behind you. You can also kind of bend your right knee or your right elbow. Places outside your knee to help you twist deeper if you want that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. 1 more. Good, turn forward and then counter the other way. Hands down, chest bows. Lift back up. Place your feet down, bend your knees, hands behind you, sway side to side. Just gonna let your knees rock back and forth, creating space in your hips and your spine. And then again, hands come down, palms down, fingers face forward, ground into your feet. Press your hips up, reverse table. Good, and then lower your hips down. We'll do another hip opener here in seated, and I'll give you variations. So depending on your level of flexibility, some of you might be able to bring your right shin to stack over your left. So think right knee over left ankle over left knee, flex your feet. It's called figure 4 or square pose, and then maybe fold. For me, that's not good. So you can also bring your right shin in front of your left shin, kind of bring your hips back, flex your feet, and then fold there. Ooh, yeah, and I feel a lot of information there. Hopefully you do as well. Good, so that's another option, kind of maybe most available option is you can bend your left knee, put your right ankle over your left thigh, and then turn your right knee open, flex, and maybe shift side to side. You can also come onto your back, have your hand behind your thigh, flex the feet, nice deep hip opener. Yeah, and you can sit in that variation in figure 4 or come onto your back. Grab behind your left thigh or in front of the left shin. Whatever your body is experiencing, see if you can just make space to sit with it, to be here, to be with it. So much of yoga is about kind of listening deeply, having eyes to see clearly, allowing us to have space to just be present, show up for ourselves. So take 2 more breaths on this side, inhaling, exhaling. And whichever variation you're in, we'll all meet in the same position. Come to seated with your legs uncrossed, feet down, knees bent. And again, maybe sway it out. You can kind of lift one hip, one arm, turn to the back of your mat, sway side to side. And so now we'll do the left side. So again, kind of setting up all your options for the most flexible people. See if you can go left shin on top of right shin, feet flexed. Good. So figure 4 or square, you want the shins kind of parallel the front of the mat, nice. And then fold, ooh, it's a lot for me. So you can do that, you can do left shin in front of right shin, kind of draw your hips back, and then fold down. Good, or go left ankle on top of the right thigh, flex your foot and kind of draw that knee open and away. I think that's, for me, probably the most successful way to do it. And it's just what you need, what feels right. And then if you're doing that figure 4, your ankle over your thigh, you can do it seated or come onto your back. Maybe grab the front of the right shin or behind your right thigh. Soften. Breathe. Really kind of showing up in a powerful way for yourself. It's so important as life gets very busy, which it just tends to do, especially in times like these. Like we just had Labor Day, so it's almost just the official end of summer and kind of transitioning into fall. Sometimes in the day it feels like hot, hot summer, and then in the morning at night it feels like fall. So as we move and transition, this is a time where sometimes a lot of people get sick. As we move inside more, as we slow down or speed up, depending on you. So being with ourselves through these transitions and changes and taking time, maybe even every day, to slow down, to feel, be, breathe, even just 5 minutes when you first wake up, to kind of sit and breathe, meditate, journal. You can even kind of create those little meditative moments, mindful moments when you're doing other things, like when you're doing the dishes, really paying attention to doing the dishes, or you're cleaning or cooking or putting your kids to bed. Take your final breaths here on this side. Know that you can stay longer if you want. And then uncross your legs, come to lie down on your back. Ah, that's the good stuff, right? It feels really good lying down here. So bring your feet towards the edges of the mat and draw your knees towards one another. So knock knee position, called active rest. Funny little internal rotation, and it might feel good to stretch your arms up and over. Let your shoulders drop down, maybe palms to face up. And then just ask yourself here if there are any final poses you might want to move through. And then Just a few more options. You can heel toe your feet back in, feet underneath your knees. Maybe lift your hips for a bridge pose. And do bridge a couple times and then maybe full wheel. So just options, couple closing postures, bridge, wheel, maybe happy baby, lift your legs up, grab the outside edges of your feet or behind your thighs, maybe rock a little side to side, maybe you can straighten your legs out into that happy baby. And take your time, stay as long as you want, and then just kind of finishing with a twist of your choice. So you can let your knees hug in and drop to one side to an easy twist, or any other variation of a twist you know and like. And just make sure you do both sides. Let yourself really be here for the culmination of class. And then as you're ready, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself one final big squeeze. Maybe curl your shoulders up, squeeze. And release. Let everything drop onto the mat for final Shavasana, relaxation pose. Do Shavasana lying down. If you're near a wall, it might feel really good to come into legs up the wall. Bring your hips right against the baseboards. And then sending your legs up. Gentle inversion. And if you have a blanket or a piece of clothing by your side, it might feel nice to drape a blanket over you or place something over your eyes. And then together, let's take one more cleansing breath in through the nose. Big sigh out. Ah. Deep rest. Shavasana. Now here in your final resting pose, just notice how you feel. Maybe some subtle differences between how you feel now and how you felt when we first began. Just paying attention. Notice it feels like there's more space in the body. You've created a little more mobility, flexibility, strength. And then before you move at all, just breathe a little bit deeper down into the belly. Inhale and exhale. And as you're ready, we'll start to create some small movements. So wiggling the fingers and rolling out your toes. You move your head side to side. And stretch your arms up and your feet down. Lengthen your body from top to bottom, stretch. And then bend your knees in and give yourself a little squeeze. You can rock side to side. And then roll your right side and just pause. Pausing here in kind of a fetal position. And I always like this to be an invitation to leave anything on the mat that you don't want to take with you into the rest of your day. So corpse pose, Shavasana, means like kind of a death. Corpse pose, like the death of a small self. So that self that operates from those lower energy centers of fear, of insecurity, of anger. See if you can let that self die as you step into your capital S self, strong, confident, brave, full of integrity, balance, strength. And then as you're ready, make your way up into a seated posture, sitting nice and tall. And just bringing your hands at the heart, palms touching, maybe chin slightly bows, and just closing your posture, your practice here in a spirit of gratitude for your health, safety, maybe people in your life who are supporting you in your yoga journey, your job, anything you feel extra grateful for today. And bringing your hands up to your forehead with a place of deep, deep gratitude, gesture of thankfulness. Namaste. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Ruth.
You're so welcome. Thanks for being with me these past couple months, and I hope you have a great rest of your yoga journey with Caitlin.
Hope to see you again soon.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.